Boom. All right. We're live, buddy.
What's up, folks?
Howdy do. This is not what I normally do. This is something a little different. And we're just going to get rolling, just kind of see where we go with this. But Jamil, why don't you tell everybody what we're doing here?
So the baseball season's right around the corner,
Right.
right? So of course we're gonna get inundated from the first tournament with adults acting like dumbasses, umpires being tougher than what they are, organizations doing things that get them blasted on social media, everybody bragging about their PG stats. We're gonna get all that kind of stuff. So
I got great PG stats. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
So I figured, why not?
Why not talk about it a little bit?
Why not talk about it a little bit?
Okay. Well, so you had this idea. So tell me where you came up with this concept. Which, by the way, I love the name. I really, really like that.
Yes.
That was the best part of it. But tell me how you came up with this concept and what you want to do with this.
Hey, what's up? Shout out Matt Story, one of the best umpires in DFW.
Oh, was Matt the guy that came to the complex?
No, that's Travis.
Okay, all right.
Matt's. I don't think you've met Matt. Tall guy. He usually does the Waxahachie tournaments and a couple up north.
Nice.
Yeah, good dude. Him and his buddy, his partner Robbie.
Good to have you, Matt.
But anyways, first, I thought of it because obviously you're white, I'm black.
I am.
I love seeing.
Nobody told me this.
Different cultures work together.
I look kind of orange in this stuff, but
I'm super weird. Like when I'm out and I see just different cultures, mostly blacks and whites. Like you just look up and you see a black dude smiling, talking to an old white lady or whatever. It just warms my heart.
Yeah,
as weird and that sounds. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm mixed culture. I want to see everybody get along. But that was the first thing that was like, okay, Mike's this, I'm this. Oh yeah, Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney. They had an album together.
Yes, they did.
Ebony and Ivory.
Yeah.
And I used to call, me and my wife used to joke about it too. She's white. I'm Ebony, which I'm not as dark as Ebony, so it's light.
You're barely Ebony, bro.
Yeah, I'm barely
Ebony.
It was more like caramel and ivory.
Right? It could have been barely Ebony and Ivory, but we chose light.
Oh, that's better.
Well, hey, look, this is a fluid thing, man. Right. We can change it anytime you want.
That's right. Switch it up sometimes. And then I figured, I left all the baseball sites. Got tired of fighting with people. Got tired of them just whatever. It's just useless.
Well, okay. You say you got tired of fighting with people.
Yes.
But see, I don't get tired of fighting with people. You know why, Jamil?
Why?
Because I don't fight with people.
Well, it was like I was always trying to defend myself, trying to defend my background
I understand.
in the game.
Yeah.
Trying to defend how I got, to be owner of an organization. It just got old, stressful. I was like, you know what? People kept telling me, just leave. You're going to be who you are. Just leave. Nobody's going to really listen to you. The ones that do listen, take care of them. So, which I did, only time you see me on a baseball site now is if I'm posting about a camp or tryouts, which we rarely do anyway. We just do open practices. So I said, look, I still have a lot that I want to say to the youth culture. I still have a lot of changes I want to make with the youth baseball culture. People always tell me all the time, man, keep doing what you're doing. So I figured, why sit in the house and stay quiet? I have an avenue with you in this podcast, this building.
Hey, I'm down.
And I was like, you know what? Shit, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm in. I got all kinds of opinions on that stuff, so I'm never short of words. Anybody that knows me knows that I talk way too damn much as it is. So this is like going to be my second one this week. I'm gonna have another one tomorrow. So I maybe, my wife's like, are you working? Are you doing mortgages? Or are you just talking all the time? She'd be a little concerned about that. My boss sees this. He's like, wait a minute, what are you doing? You're on this thing all the time. This is work. I'm doing work, guys. Doing work.
I'm not gonna get him in trouble, guys.
I'll get myself in trouble plenty. So what did you want to start with?
There's a few things. I wanted to talk about, people are signing up for tournaments right now. I know I spent like 4 hours this morning trying to go through all the different tournaments we were going to play in. There's a lot of what do they call it when the presidents and the politicians do deals?
Backroom deals?
Yeah, there's a lot of backroom stuff that goes on, man. And
Did you get that thing from NCS that they're trying to up their game in their tournaments? They sent out, I got an email because I'm on all the coaches list too.
Prospect thing?
Yeah.
Well, we kind of have to. PG, of course, I don't know if they started it, but they're the biggest that does it. I know 24 Sports is doing it, and it's competitive, man. I mean, NCS had lock. They had a lock on DFW tournaments.
Yes.
They had it locked down.
Yes.
Not so much anymore.
No. You have a lot of new players coming to the game, and we've talked about this before about tournaments being. I mean, you're essentially running a business to some extent, right? Because that's what these tournament directors are doing. And if you're going to do that in the day and age of social media, in the day and age of, especially nowadays with like NIL, I know it's not the same thing, but it bleeds into that, where you have kids and parents that have certain expectations on getting their kids recognized. Now we'll go into, I'm sure at some point, like at 10 years old, maybe that's a little early, but either way, that's when there's a want, you got to fill the need, right? You got to fill the need from families. And so if you can't just do the old U-Trip, game plan of have shitty fields and mediocre umpires and go out there, like you've got to spruce it up. And, Rocker B, I think, was probably the first one to kind of head in that direction as far as like interviewing players, picking MVPs, doing all that kind of stuff. So these tournaments have to step their game up if they want to be competitive, because there's a lot of options now.
They got to. And yes, so going into that, I'm really upset about Rocker B. I've been playing in those tournaments like 7 years straight.
Yeah.
So it's very unfortunate that we won't be able to go this spring. I hope Bart and his brother, get everything straight with the city ASAP, because I know my kids and family are really going to miss it. We went at least twice a season.
Yeah.
So I was
twice a year, right?
No, we went twice a season.
Like twice in the spring?
Yes, twice in the spring,
really?
Twice in the fall.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
yeah, the only time I've been was when we went with you guys. Pull that a little bit closer.
Gotcha. So and then the newcomer of the year, tournament director of the year. I'm sorry guys if I hurt people's feelings, but 24 Sports and Aaron Hampton, dude, he's killing it right now.
Yeah.
With his connections, with his love for trying to put out a good product, his umpires. I think I've only gotten into one umpire in his tournament, so that's a good thing. I mean, he's killing it, man.
Yeah.
And so everybody else got to.
So what has 24 Sports done? Because, okay, so I noticed with PG, for example, they didn't have, up in the DFW area, they didn't have a ton of tournaments like within the last couple of years. It seems like this year they're adding more, but they were more like in Houston, kind of south.
Let's be honest. PG is watered down in DFW. You got just like guys leaving certain tournament sanctions, and all you have to do is just go somewhere else.
Right.
And some of them went over to Perfect Game, and they're running their tournaments, but it's still the big time tournaments are Houston, Ball, Baseball USA.
Gotcha. Because they got the facilities.
Yeah, it's trying to make its way into DFW.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's right for 817, we'll support it.
Sure.
But I like to align with people instead of a product.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, products go away. People and their character.
Yes.
It stays.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, you don't anytime you do business with anybody, any business, you can call it whatever you want. I mean, you're running a club, they're running a tournament, you're doing business together, whether it's youth sports or whatever it is.
So you got to be careful who you put your name.
Yeah, it's always about the people. The people you'll see brand. I see stuff come out all the time, especially if you get you're looking at whether it be equipment or whatever, it starts coming out and they have a big push because they got this cool new brand or they've got this great look or design or whatever. And then you get this stuff and it sucks. It's terrible. They had a great launch. Their marketing was fantastic,
absolutely,
but the substance wasn't there. And so you can find a good human being that's running good tournaments, that's running a good program. They may not be the best as far as like the branding and marketing side of it, but when you find somebody like that and you stick with them and help that process grow, you're going to get a good product at the end, because the person that created it, had all the right intentions when they did it, even though they didn't have one facet of whatever it is.
And it happens in the baseball organizations. Every freaking year you get these pop-up, whether it's big names coming in and trying to flood DFW and take over.
Right.
And everybody's all excited. And, a year and a half, 2 years later, they're gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's because the people behind it aren't good people. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, they're in it for the money.
Exactly.
Yes. And if you start anything, I mean, don't, everybody's got to pay their bills. Everybody's got to do what they got to do. But if you're in it for the money, it's often going to fail.
Hey, what's up, Iggy? Shout out to Iggy. He's one of the top 5 all-time umpires.
We got an umpire group here. I like it.
Texas.
I like it. And then I forgot to put up old Matt there. So what's up, Matt? There's his shout out.
But yes, so like, I'll just shout out a guy who's just starting up, Courtney Williams, Texas Vipers.
Okay.
I vouch for this guy. I've known him for a while. We actually met at Rockerby.
Where's he out of? Is it local?
Up north. Actually, we were together this past week, working together on arm care stuff, trying to help each other out with our organizations.
So like McKinney, Plano area?
Oh man, I just know he's up north. It took him like 40 minutes.
Not like Canada North?
No. Like Denton area.
Yeah. Okay.
Somewhere up there. So Courtney Williams and
Texas Vipers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love him. I don't really know Cody Bishop well, but I love what he represents with the Texas Spartans.
Okay.
Another up and coming organization that I hope does well.
Yeah.
And if I'm forgetting a few, I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. Wait, hang on. Let me be clear. So you run a baseball organization.
Yes, sir.
And you are giving props to other baseball organizations?
Hell yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hell yeah.
You're not talking trash about them? That's so unusual.
I'm growing out of that, dude. Because like I said, they're going to find out. People are going to find out who people are. You know what I mean? So unless people are like physically abusing or mentally abusing kids, I'm not gonna name drop organization. The money always finds the people in the organizations that are doing it for the money or stealing people's money. So
yeah,
whatever.
And was bummed out about Rockerby too. So
yes.
And we got Lou Martinez.
What's up, Lou? On 14U. Hey, Miss Ann. Brian. God, I'm getting his last name wrong. Brian, Hispanic guy. Golly.
Brian, Hispanic guy. You remember his club name?
V8. I think it's
V8.
V8.
Okay.
Yes.
Where are they out of?
No. I just know we played him a few times.
Okay.
I've talked to him. I see how him and his coaches are with his kids on the field.
Yeah.
I believe it's V8 baseball.
So what is it about those guys in particular that you?
Their energy on the field, not like hoorah energy, but you know how people, they give off certain energy.
Sure.
You know, I can tell. I guess it may be because I was in the military, I've been trained, and I work for the feds. I can tell if someone's a good person.
Yeah.
Just by
their
aura.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like to say gut because my gut's big.
You got a lot of aura. You can pick it up.
Right. But not
Pedro checking in. Hey, coach.
I can feel like the energy from certain people, man. And, you know, like Brian and Cody Bishop and Courtney Williams, they just give off that they're doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
Well, I don't want to say right because I'm not
in their head.
People could say I'm not right or I am.
You're not right. There's no doubt about it. Like,
let me put it this way: they're doing it. It feels good to me what they're doing it for.
Yeah.
So it's not nobody's right or wrong. We're all just different. I'm different.
Yeah. So what do you think if a parent is looking for a team and they're coming into it new, like even younger parents, because baseball's a sport, good or bad, that you can start at a really young age. There's not a lot of kids that start football at 5 or 6. I mean, there's some that do, but there's not very many. There's not very many. Even basketball's tough, man. You start basketball at 5 or 6, they can barely, dribble a ball and pick it up and run.
Because the hoop's like 6 foot.
Right. It's just tough. Yeah. But baseball, they can start at a very, very young age. So how does a parent measure or judge whether or not they're joining a good organization or getting involved with a good coach? Now, a lot of times at that age, they're kind of starting in rec and, the league type setup.
To me, the kids always tell the truth.
Oh, yeah.
What I mean by that is, are they excited to go?
Right.
Are they excited to see their coach?
Right.
Are they disappointed when they have to leave practice?
Mm-hmm.
Are they disappointed and always wanting to be around their coach?
Right.
Because let's be honest, these kids, I know the kids I train, they're around me as much, if not more, around me than they are their own parents.
Yeah.
So I'm basically helping raise a lot of these kids. Now, I'm not trying to be their dad or nothing, but I'm just saying a lot of stuff who I am is going to rub off on them.
Yeah.
So to me, that's how people 4 through 13, 14 should pick who they allow to train and coach their kids, what organization they should go to.
Yeah, I think that you see a lot of, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but you have organizations that prop up a coach or somebody who owns the club or whatever that had some sort of experience playing in the past. They were a college player or a professional player, or
Right.
maybe they even coached at higher level or whatever, and that seems appealing as a parent because you're like, oh well, this guy was a college player, then he can teach my son or daughter how to be a college player as well. And the part that you miss, and we kind of said it a second ago, is that you don't know what kind of athlete when you're talking about purely athletics, you don't know what kind of athlete you're going to have
To the nuts drop.
yeah, until puberty shows up and tells you what you got. And even at that point, I've said it 1,000 times, like, at that age and at that level, the kids decide if they're going to be high school or college or whatever, because they have to have talent and they have to have desire. And if they don't have those two things, then it doesn't matter about anything else. It doesn't matter how hard you push as a parent. So when I was examining on moving other places after I got out of coaching myself, it was way more important to me, like what you just said about the person that I'm going to put my child's, life in their hands for a period of time. I don't mean life like something's going to happen to them, but just, what they're doing. Yeah. Then I want that person's values or their character to mirror what I want to see in my son or my daughter. And if you have somebody that's, constantly talking down to them, or the worst part is the ones that just get ignored.
Right.
You have kids that show up because parents are paying and coaches want that money. So the kid shows up and he sticks them in right field, or he puts them, and he never engages with them, never talks to him, never really spends a whole lot of time.
Hold up, Mike. The highest paid players in baseball right now, I believe, is right field. You said stick them in right field, bro. Right field getting paid, huh?
I know. Yeah, it's a little different though when you're hitting people are driving bombs out there. But my point is just that these parents, these kids, I should say, get ignored because they don't have whatever talent or level that coach feels like, because the coach is themselves. They're there to promote their brand, whatever's on their uniform, whatever their name is, and they're going to pick out the players that are going to best suit that purpose, right? And if your son or your daughter doesn't fit into that, then they're going to get left out in the cold. And you're going to recognize that stuff really quickly, but you have to figure out where you want that child to develop on a character level, not necessarily athletically. The athletic piece will come, and you can find people that can do both. But I think the first, choice or the first decision needs to be made based on the character of the person that you're putting your kid, in front of on a daily basis.
Exactly right. My youngest is 8. I don't coach him. I don't even really train him much. He plays for somebody else, but I trust that guy with my son's life. I trust, who he is to rub off on my son. So what you just said is, I'm going through that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what it comes down to, man. You got to pick who you want to influence your kids. And you said desire, which is a good thing. You can have all the talent in the world. My daughter, phenomenal swimmer, phenomenal. Yeah. She doesn't have the desire to swim. She just quit this past season. She's a sophomore. I honestly think, I know for a fact she could have swam in college. Mm-hmm. Her coaches told her she could have.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would have been Olympic level, but she was damn good. But she doesn't have the desire that my boys have for athletics.
Yeah.
Her desires are elsewhere.
Yeah.
So you can have all the talent in the world, and that desire doesn't always last either.
Nope.
They can have it from 4, 5, 6, 7, and then all of a sudden it's gone. She had the desire. She turned 14. She was like, Dad.
Puberty kicked in, their mind changed, and life's different.
I'm not sure I want to keep swimming.
Yeah.
We made her swim for another year. And then at 15, she put her foot down. She's like, I'm not swimming anymore. You guys can't make me swim. I don't love it. We're like, shit, cool. You got to do something else, though.
Yeah.
You got to do something.
Yeah, you can't
else.
sit around and do nothing.
And she does other things. She loves drawing. She's starting to get into that. She loves cooking. She's got like 2 classes at Ben Barber that she does as far as cooking and art. So
Yeah,
her desires are elsewhere. But most importantly, we can't have the desire for the kid.
No.
So all these parents out here that are, with these good athletes thinking that, at 15 and 16, they're going to be the same stud. Not necessarily, because their desire is not your desire.
No.
So
and that's really and truly, that is a hard thing for a parent, because I don't think the intent is never that you're going to start off like, everybody says you're living vicariously through your kids. That's a thing that people say, or adults say all the time. And I understand that sentiment.
I sort of agree with it, actually.
Yeah. But I don't think that parents start off that way. I don't think that they come out of the gate thinking, oh, I want my kid to do well because I never did. That's not in the front of their consciousness.
See, I don't agree with that part.
Yeah.
What I agree with the cliche living through your kids is, as a parent, aren't we supposed to give better to what we had,
yes,
to our kids?
Absolutely.
Provide better.
Yep.
Help them learn from our mistakes.
Yes.
So we are kind of living through them because we want them to live better than we did. Yeah. So, when my boys were born, I was like, look, if I had all the resources and knowledge I had when I was playing, what I was playing, then I probably could have gone farther. So I'm going to do everything I can to pass on that knowledge to them, and put them in situations that I wasn't able to be in, whether it be because my parents couldn't afford it, or the area I grew up in, it wasn't, big on that particular sport.
Right.
So I'm kind of living through Sebastian because I want him better, but I'm not living through him because of what my failures were.
Right. Well, it's not an ego-driven thing.
No, it's not an ego-driven thing.
Right.
It's more as I want to give him what I didn't have.
Right.
But you see in like the football culture, oh my God, these coaches, they're literally living through their kids.
Well, yeah, the coaches
baseball too.
Yes, coaches in football are not just living through their kids. They're living their Nick Saban dreams. Right. They think that their Pee Wee team is going to go to the national championship. But I just what frustrates me about youth sports is the inside and outside, because you have the outside people that don't participate in athletics, right, that look down on it, because there are a lot of negative things that you see on a regular basis. You see parents acting like jackasses. You see coaches, showing their butt in these tournaments and in these activities, and parents getting in fights and, fist fights on the internet. I mean, sometimes we have too much information, but so they see that and they go, well, this is just a culture of fools that act crazy. And, it's just all testosterone driven and everybody acts crazy. And then you got the inside who are, I think at least, are using it for the wrong reasons, right? Athletics and sports is built to teach a lot of valuable lessons to kids. I say it's built that way. It's not built for that, but that's the vehicle for it. That's what it is. And if you're looking at it as an avenue to go to college or an avenue to make money as a professional or whatever the case may be, everybody knows this, but it doesn't resonate, that the odds of that happening are very, very, very slim. Right. And again, it comes down to the kid. It doesn't come down to what you do as a parent. So your job as a parent, when you're raising your children and you're putting them through athletics, is to not focus on the wins and losses, not focus on the successes as much, or even the failures as much, but it's the process. What are you doing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, to continue to get better at whatever it is you're choosing to do? Right. Because those qualities and traits carry over to every other thing that you do in life, right? And the great thing about sports is that, you have failures. You have failures when you should have won and you didn't, you got cheated out of it. And then that's just what happens. And there's nothing you can do about it. So how are you going to deal with it? How are you going to move on from it? I had a conversation with a guy today in my profession, and real estate's slow right now. Market's down. Right. Mm-hmm. And, it's like, how are we going to get through this? I'm like, look, there is not a damn thing I can do about how interest rates are moving and how the market changes. All I can do is control what's right in front of me every day. Right. So every day I've got to show up. I've got to grind it out. I've got to call the people I need to talk to, do the stuff I need to do to make sure that I put myself in the absolute best position that I can do on a daily basis to keep furthering my career. And I can't worry about everything that happens outside of that. But I have that mentality to some extent. I mean, it's been developed over the years, but I also have it just because I played sports and I had a lot of, I just remember them vividly, failures that I made. I don't remember the successes. I remember the failures. But that stuff sticks out in my head, and I survived. I woke up the next day and I was alive. And so those are the things that you learn and that you experience when you play these sports, but parents are ruining it because not all parents, obviously, but the ones that are causing these issues are driving kids away from sports, turning kids and families that otherwise would have been interested away. And I think it's a shame because it's just the participation seems to get down more and more. And I know there's video games and all kinds of other stuff that compete with it. It's just, to me, it's a sad state of affairs because it is such a business and because it's turned into a situation where you have families and coaches and teams that are so focused on money and so focused on, fame or success or whatever you want to call it, that they lose sight of what we're here for, which is those kids. And that's the part that, that I hope will start to change. And, maybe parents of our generation will turn that around. I don't know. But
I don't think it'll change. One, because the love of money will never go away.
Yes.
Which is, youth sports is a money-driven business, and the cost of winning has become too great. People losing their integrity trying to win. People doing anything at all costs, exploiting loopholes and rules to win.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. Like one in particular, the stalling thing. Now, I'm not an angel. When I first started coaching, I thought being able to stall, and this was like 10, 12 years ago when I started, I thought that was, strategic. Once I grew up.
Explain real quick before you go further on that. Explain what stalling is, just so in case anybody's like, what is he talking about?
Well, my version of stalling is when we all know that 15 and below, there's time limits.
Baseball.
Yes. Time limits in baseball. It's either innings or time limit. And a lot of the times, if you're not a majors level team, the time is going to come up before the innings.
Right.
So what happens is a lot of the times is coaches and parents and game changer keepers and even umpires, they start to watch the clock and say there's 15 minutes in the game. Teams try to slow the game down, call timeouts, change pitchers, tie shoes, do yoga after every at bat.
Yeah, it gets pretty elaborate sometimes.
Yeah, give pitching lessons and hitting lessons after each pitch. We all know what it is. And after a while, I didn't go that extreme, but I would if there was 5 minutes left, I'd call a timeout. I'd do something to waste, 3 to 5 minutes.
Well, the other side of that, though, too, is that if you don't, and the parents know, because you get to a certain level, everybody knows what's going on. So if you don't and you lose for whatever reason,
you get blamed. The parents don't like it.
Everybody loses their mind.
But the thing with me is I tell my parents up front, we're not ever going to play that way. We're not going to play that way. If you don't like it, you can leave.
Yeah.
I've gotten to that point just because I don't want my own kids to think that a loophole is a way to win. Maybe every now and then, subconsciously is okay. But when you actually go into a game or you're in a game and you're like, hey, I know this rule, I know this time limit, let's try to win this way. I refuse to do it because it's making my kids look at me like I'm a coward.
Yeah.
Maybe not as a man, but as an athlete, I'm being a coward because that means I don't trust my kids to do their job.
Yeah.
I trust the clock to run out for them.
Right.
So,
by the way, Belinda's fine with them doing yoga during that bat.
No,
she's feeling.
It cost us a championship. The team was doing yoga for literally 30 minutes.
She's feeling offended. You're hitting her close to home there, man.
But so it gets to a point where what got me to change, and it really made me mad, is I saw kids start doing it. They would look at their coach and they point to their wrist. And when you have little 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids doing that, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to the culture of winning instead of the culture of, playing.
Are you trying to teach these kids how to compete, or are you trying to teach them how to have a cushion?
Right.
One or the other.
Yeah.
You can't compete and look for cushions.
Yeah.
You got to be a dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I tell my parents all the time. They get mad sometimes. And we've lost because we didn't stall.
Yeah.
But the one thing,
And it hurts when that happens because
yeah.
you're like,
It happened like this past season,
yeah.
But I just can't do it, man. I really just can't, because it's just not in me anymore.
Well, and that's the thing too, is if you communicate that stuff, because that's the other piece I think that misses sometimes with when you get to these organizations and coaches are, dealing with your families and kids, is you have to communicate those things to your people. Right. You got to say, hey, look, guys, and your players too, regardless of what their age is. Hey, guys, we've got 10 minutes left, but we're going to play. We're going to play full 10 minutes. We're going to play like we always play. We're not going to stall it out. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. We should win because we're the better team. But if we don't, that's what happens.
I've even had umpires point to me and
be like, hey, will you win?
He's like, Coach, you only got 30 seconds. And I just tell him straight up, bro, I can't win like that.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I'm not an angel. Now, certain situation, if there's 3 or 4 minutes left and we're about to go at bat and we're winning, we're the away team, I'm not going to stall, but I'm not going to be in a rush.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not sprinting around.
Yeah. I'm going to tell my kids, hey, slow it down. We're not in a rush. We're winning. It's 3 or 4 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
But don't go up there.
Just nothing silly.
Don't call timeouts every pitch. Don't
step out of the box, fix your gloves.
Don't look for me for signs for 30, 45 seconds, but we don't need to, be in a hurry. But that's the difference. I mean, there's a fine line between being strategic and being a coward to me.
Yeah.
And Matthew Jacobs, yes, sir. Hey, thanks for checking in and commenting. Yeah, that really, it gets us a lot. The
Bridget was here too. Bridget, thanks for hanging out.
It gets us a lot with that, but it is what it is. And I'm up front. If any of my parents are listening right now, they'll tell you, they can comment to verify I'm not lying. I tell them at the beginning of the season, that's not who I am. We're not going to play like that. I remind them every tournament. I remind them every time we in that situation. And they're like, hey, Coach, we only got 5 minutes left. I don't care, bro.
Yeah.
We're going to play.
Yeah.
Play.
You said we kind of got off track a little bit on the tournament thing, but 24 Sports, what is it about 24 Sports that you think is, headed in there? Why is that your favorite spot right now?
Number one, because LaAaron, to me, is a great person. His vibe is awesome. His wife is awesome. They work together, and he had the balls to go off on his own. He came from the corporate world, making a lot of money.
Yeah,
and he had a passion. He quit his job, and he started his own thing, and that connects with me because that's what I did.
Yeah,
I was 4 years from retirement.
Yeah.
From the federal government for the rest of my life, collecting a check, 4 years out. And I was like, screw it, man. I don't love it. I want to coach.
Yeah.
I want to be involved in kids. I eventually want to get into politics. I don't want to be a politician, but I definitely want to be involved in politics.
That'll be interesting. I'll sign up for that campaign. I tell you what.
But yeah,
hey, Marcus, what's up? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I love people who have the balls to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And not just be a robot and fall in line with the rest of everybody else is.
Well, that's hard because it's you could fail, and failing is scary, and it hurts, and it's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, that's, people deal in fear a lot of times because they don't want to look like a fool in front of everybody else. Right. Like, that's always, I deal with real estate agents and lenders and whatever in my world, and we talk a lot about social media because these days, that's if you want your face out there, that's kind of what you have to do. Yes. And most of them say, well, I just think I look silly, or I don't like the way I sound. And it's all just it's a fear-based mentality of, I'm scared of how I'm going to look. And the truth is that, you're going to look dumb sometimes. You're going to say stupid stuff sometimes. You're not going to be thrilled. But, and again, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but, you're going to pass in front of someone's eyes for about 20 seconds, a minute, whatever it is. And then you're going to be out. And then they're going to move on with their life. And they're going to think about whatever they were thinking about before you showed up. And they're not going to consider you again. And it doesn't mean that people are cold and they don't care, and none of that. It just means that we all live right here, everybody. And when you and I are sitting right here talking right now, and the minute you walk out the door, when we leave, you're going to have the things that you're having to deal with the rest of the day. I'm going to have the stuff that I'm going to deal with the rest of the day.
Right.
And we're going to dwell in this moment for a very short amount of time. Right. And it doesn't mean that we're not friends. It doesn't mean that we're not involved in each other's lives. It just means that we're right here at this moment. And so you got to be able to understand that the person that's worried about you is you.
Right.
And nobody else. Maybe your mama and daddy.
Right.
That's about it.
Right.
What's up, Dustin? How you doing, buddy? Long time no talk.
You find that a lot, running a youth sports organization, with exactly what you just said. Who's really in it for you and to support you, and who's in it to really act like they support you, but are really trying to get what they can out of you and then move on.
Yeah, but that's going to happen. I mean, anytime you run an organization or you run a business or you run anything, if you're somewhere near the top of the pyramid, people are going to take advantage, and that's just what it is. And if your expectation is that they're not, and then it's not going to happen, then the problem's with you,
right?
Because you got the wrong expectation.
Right.
And again, you can't control it. They're going to do what they're going to do. So just keep on rolling,
And also Aaron puts his money where his mouth is. He spends more for umpires. He spends more to make the product or the experience at the tournaments. He puts out more money that comes out of his pocket to give everybody a better experience, and that means a lot to me.
Why do you think there has been such a? I mean, we know the reasons, but it seems extreme lately with the umpires.
Oh, because
they're gone. There's none. I mean, there's some great ones out there, and we have them listening here. But where did all the bodies go, and why can't they get more?
I think two reasons. And I could be wrong because remember I was talking about the backdoor deals and all that stuff earlier. I'm not in that loop per se. I hear about it all the time because other, organization heads tell me, "Hey, you're not getting this deal. You're not getting this deal." No, not. I don't go out specifically ask for it, and I'm not always offered. But two reasons I think is one, I think adults in the stands and coaches on the sidelines have driven away good umpires.
Yes, I agree with that.
The second one is tournament directors getting greedy, not paying them. Yeah.
If you're going to deal with that much, you at least better get paid
yes.
to handle that kind of stuff.
And that's where I think Aaron has made a difference. He pays a lot more than what the going rate is for his umpires. And, they appreciate it. And which is why I really haven't had any problems with his umpires. Not to say that because I'm cool with them, that's why I like them. Nah, I don't even know half of them.
Yeah.
They know of us more than I know of them.
Sure.
But they're really decent umpires, and they hustle, bro.
Well, I think tournament directors and
Robbie Elrod, for one.
Mm-hmm.
That dude is awesome. He's probably, I think, 24 Sports #1 umpire.
They lose sight, and maybe this is what he's got figured out, is that your biggest point of contention from parents always in baseball, especially, or hell, any sport, is the refs, is umpires, right? Everybody's bitching about strike zones. Everybody's bitching about calls in the field, all those kind of things. And if you could take that complaint and you could minimize it by 50%, meaning
you're going to win.
You're going to do way better because your customers, who are the parents that have paid and the coaches that have paid to get into these tournaments, are going to walk away with an overall better experience because they felt like not only was, umpires are going to make mistakes. It's just going to happen.
Right.
But a good umpire isn't somebody that's perfect. A good umpire is somebody that knows how to control the situation, right? If you're going to make a call, this is what I used to tell when I ran the football league, when I had refs and they were young kids out there reffing these flag games for 5 and 6 year olds. These dads and the coaches on the sideline are just chewing them out. I'm like, this kid's 15 and you're wearing him out like he's, like he's your employee. Yeah. But I would tell them, it's like, you have to be confident in your calls, right? Whatever you call, even if it's wrong, you better believe in it fully because you can't change it. Once you do your call, and if you change it, then you're going to be they're going to eat your lunch the rest of the game. So own your mistake. If you mess it up, make the call. You can even say, "Hey coach, sorry, I missed that one," but it is what it is. And we'll move on to the next thing. But if you control the game by putting your stamp on, and I'm not saying you need to be the star of the show. I'm just saying, if you're going to call somebody out, call them out. If you're going to call somebody safe, call them safe. If they're going to be an argument, talk to the other umpire and then make your call and move on, and be confident. Treat the coaches with respect. There's a lot of umpires sometimes you'll see that, get worked up just as much as parents do, but let them control the game. And if you pay them a little more and give them a little bit more confidence in what they're doing, then you're going to have a much better product at the end of the weekend.
Plus, he's accessible, man.
Yeah.
He's out there walking around, not delegating to his on-site, people. He's in the streets, as the kids will say. He's there. He's outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's there. He listens. He's willing to do whatever it takes to make the product better. Yeah. And before I go any further, man, because you know there's going to be people out there who are like, man, he's only out there promoting 24 Sports because he's getting a discount. Let me tell you something. I don't ask anybody for shit.
Yes.
Number one, I pay the same $450 plus the gate fee, which is I think $160, whatever it is everybody else pays. That's what I pay.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to promote 24 Sports because I'm paid. He paid me to do it.
No, you are. You actually are. You're trying to promote him because you're willing to pay his going rate for the service that he provides, and then tell everybody he does a great job.
I'm not getting no discounts.
No.
It is what it is, man. He's putting out a good product. And this doesn't mean that I'm not willing to support other tournament directors. But I'm the type of dude, I'm going to give praise where praise is due. Period.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm partnering right now with U-Trip, Cody Whitehead, another guy I respect. Always done me right. I'm partnering with him to run my own tournament in March. So me supporting like Aaron at 24 Sports doesn't mean I can't support other guys.
Yeah.
It just means that he's doing very well. And anybody that knows me knows I'm going to promote. If you down for what I believe in, I'm going to promote you. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you came from. I like looking out. People who take care of me, I'm going to take care of them. And if I take care of somebody, I expect, to be reciprocated. It is what it is. That's where the world should be.
Yeah. Well,
instead of doing quick pro quo, I don't believe in you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Just do stuff for the right reasons.
People think supporting others is you give me a discount, I'll give you a discount. Right. And more often than not, if you really care about somebody's business or what somebody's endeavor, then you're going to support them by paying full price, right, because that's the best way to support them. If they're trying to do something and to step out there and be, put their life and job on the line, or their livelihood, right, and you really want to help them out, well, then pay full price, right, engage, help them out, promote them. When I think you said this last time too, but like when I was running the football league, I paid every single season for my son. I paid sponsorships. I put money into it because I didn't want to be above the process in the league. Right. I wanted to participate. I didn't want to be somebody special outside of it, because if I'm going to hold that standard of myself, then I can expect to hold that of everybody else. Right. But if your expectation is that you're going to get something for nothing because you're make a comment every once in a while about somebody, then you're setting your expectations in the wrong place, and you're really not supporting them, right, because you're doing it for a reason as opposed to just wanting to help out.
Right. And I love Tracy Black, Keep Calm, and Baseball On organization out in Flower Mile. It's an awesome park. Tracy always looks out, tries to get the best umpires, put on the best tournaments. The food is great out there. He's just an overall good dude. Now, does that mean somebody else has to play his tournaments because they had a bad experience with him? Hey, I can't. What you eat don't make me poop. You know what I'm saying? So
what you eat don't make me poop. All right, I'm gonna get that on a t-shirt for you, brother.
So I can only go off of what I've been through.
Yeah.
And Tracy Black and his organization, they've always done right by Coach Jamil and whatever team I represented. So yeah, I'm just gonna, whoever's out there that's doing well, I'm gonna promote it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
So where do you where do you think right now, what cities or complexes are doing the best job of putting, I mean, we've talked about the tournaments a little bit, 24 Sports PG, but NCS is doing their thing. But where do you think facility wise, like one of my arguments in Mansfield, I was on the board there for a long time and for the youth organization. And we always had fights with the city because, we had, just as far as rec leagues are concerned, we had one of the biggest leagues in the state of Texas. I don't know that there's a bigger, just purely rec league that exists in Texas outside of Mansfield, or at least I'm not familiar with one. But when you look at our field situation, it's abysmal. It's terrible. Those fields out there at the sports complex are awful. Big League Dreams was bought out, but it's still a dump.
Yes.
It's really upsetting as a parent and as a coach and as a baseball advocate that we have supposedly this wonderfully, elaborate park in our city, and yet every single time I go as a coach or as a parent, I got to pay to get in for a game. And again, we want to support businesses, but if I'm paying to get in there, this better be the best experience that I've ever had for my weekly league game that I'm going to. And I'm not just paying so I can go get a beer. So, that's been a real point of contention for me in our area, is that if we put, you look at some of the places down in Houston and even, Texas Star and a few others, we're in such a central location from all these teams coming from the South, because you got teams from Joshua and Burleson and all these Johnson County and Ellis County that, I'm tired of driving to McKinney every weekend to go play in a baseball tournament.
Mansfield should be taking over.
We absolutely should. And it really upsets me that they don't put enough money towards that, because there's such a large baseball community in the area with all the teams, all the club teams, all the leagues that, and we were there I was there at the city council meeting, Parks and Rec meetings, talking to them, and they're more worried about putting in jogging paths and, brick, pavilions, or, not pavilions, but the signs and stuff at these different entrances of the city. And so what do you think, who's doing it right now as far as the fields are concerned in our area? And then, how can we get it to a place here locally where we can actually have some decent parks to play at?
Obviously Rocker B was doing it by far the best.
Yes.
But of course,
that's a that's like a vacation type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they'll be back. They're going to be back, right?
I am praying they are back.
Yeah.
Grapevine actually is very, very, very good. The only issue I have with Grapevine is, I hate to say it, man, a lot of the umpires out there are terrible, bro. They don't care. The knowledge of the umpires is horrible.
But umpires aren't necessarily local to parks, are they?
Yes, they actually are.
Really?
I think they're tied into who runs tournaments through those parks.
Okay.
So, but the food at Grapevine, Oak Grove is amazing.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, they got a good concession stand.
I'm talking about the dude on the grill, bro.
Yeah.
The dude on the grill with the hot dogs and the hamburgers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And of course, the aesthetics with being on a lake. Is that a lake, or is it like?
Yeah, it's like Lake Grapevine.
Yeah. Being on the lake and the breeze, and then the dock with the fish place, which is amazing.
Yep.
They've been around a long time doing it. Of course, Flower Mound, Bakersfield Park. Love playing there.
Well, there's a reason those mid cities, the Euless and the Grapevine and then Flower Mound, I'd put into that category as well. I mean, those cities, you look at how they're run with how the restaurants and the shops and the houses and the schools and everything else, they're all great. And that carries over to their parks too. And that's the thing that's so frustrating with me about Mansfield, is because I love this city. I really do. Like, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. I think we have a ton of restaurants. We have a ton of shopping. We have, great parks. There's a lot of really good stuff here, and that's just the one piece that's missing. But yeah, Oak Grove is, it's hard to beat the aesthetics of that, just because, having the lake right there, it's a difficult thing to,
and it's not really that far, it's for us, it's like 35 minutes. It's not too bad.
Carter loves to eat at Oak Grove. I don't blame him.
Carter loves to eat anywhere. That boy be eating.
That man's like some sandwich. I get it.
But a lot of how I feel about different parks has to do with the experience I have on the field.
Of course, yeah.
And unfortunately, I've had a lot of bad experiences with either teams or umpires at Oak Grove. And that's not necessarily to say that
that's Oak Grove's fault necessarily.
Yeah, or the tournament NCS's fault.
Yeah, it's just how you felt about it when you were there.
Yeah. Like it seems like lately, every time I go to Oak Grove, man, it's just a bad experience. Whether also the parents that play at Oak Grove. I can't even get through a game, dude, without people making up rules in the stands. Like,
okay, so hang on. All right, so here's the thing. Like, you got to block that shit out. Okay, like
it's hard, bro.
I know it is hard, especially if it's not something that you're used to doing. But you know that your attention and focus needs to be on those kids, and when you've got some Yahoo moron parent in the stand barking about something, like you gotta turn on the earmuffs or something to get you all worked up, because
and I get that, but you guys got to understand the environment that I've worked in for the last 26 years.
Yeah.
Like I had to pay attention to everything that went on around me.
That's okay.
Or I might not have went home that night.
Yeah.
I got inmates.
But you're not there anymore, bro. You're not there. You're not there.
How do you get out of that?
Hey, you got to work on it. You got to train.
I'm trying.
You got to train. You got to train. Keep training your brain. You talk about the kids training their brain all the time. You got to do the same thing.
I think I've gotten a lot better.
I don't know, because I wasn't around. I haven't been around you for that long. But I definitely I do see you look over your shoulder from time to time, knowing what you heard, and then turn your head back and just kind of shake and keep going. So I can see at least,
I'm trying, Mike.
See, Belinda's got your answer right there.
I'm too old for yoga.
What? That's the dumbest.
My body.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
My body,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Too old for yoga. There's no such thing. I do hot yoga with these 70-year-old women in there killing it 24/7. You can't do it. Like 40, Come on.
I'm 50.
No, I'm talking about them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're like 70 in there killing it.
Right.
Break the rules. Hey, Jen. UIC. I don't know what UIC is.
Umpire in charge.
Yes. Jen's a softballer. She's living in the softball world, so she knows all about this kind of stuff just from a different point of view. Belinda says you're never too old, sir. Never too old to do yoga.
Yes,
I agree.
Yes, ma'am. But
and you're not too old either. I promise you. Just go in there and do it. Everybody, we need to have an 817 I'm too old Belinda yoga class. All right, Belinda, set that up. Everybody that says they're too old, we're gonna come in there and do it. I'll be there.
Right. Oh, and just for everybody listening, 817 Sports is the only organization in DFW that offers yoga to their parents and players. No additional costs.
I like where Daniel's head at. Daniel's thinking we're going to do some goat yoga. If it takes goats to get you in there, we can definitely pull that off. We can find one.
That don't sound very
hey, and it's okay.
Man-like.
You just had a baby. That doesn't mean you can't do yoga. I'm here for you, Belinda. I'm your number one cheerleader on this stuff. I'm just letting you know. Christy's here for it. See, we got the parents on board. We're gonna have to put that together, B.
Gotcha. But back to the
facilities.
Yeah. Those are my top 5, really. Oak Grove, Rockerbie, 5-Star, Flower Mound, Red Oak. Now, Red Oak is brand new. The facility is awesome. The only thing that's bad about Red Oak is the parking.
That's Berlin? No,
it's
Red Oak. Red Oak. Okay.
It's all turf.
I haven't been there, I guess.
Yeah, you have. We played there.
We did? Okay, I don't remember. I can't remember yesterday sometimes.
It's all turf, but there's no parking. And they won't allow vendors.
Well, that was the problem that we had in, I think it was the Houston one, where we played, I think it was with y'all, maybe with the other, not to be named team that we were on, but there's this park in Houston that everybody plays at, and they have the parking where it's like really long. You drive down the really long road, and then I think they host World Series and stuff all there all the time. But we went there, and there was people were having to park on the access road from the freeway all the way lined up, me included, because the parking was such a nightmare. And again, these are all little things that if you're going to host a tournament of that size, you got to take those things into consideration, because I don't ever want to go back to that place again, because it was a freaking wreck, Yeah.
But yeah, Red Oak could take over too, man, if they find a way to get some more parking. but the guys who are over there running it, they do a very good job. Of course, they can't directly affect getting better parking because they don't.
Christy, I'm not trying to drive to McKinney anymore. I'm trying to solve this problem locally, so I don't have to drive my ass all the way out to North Dallas every single day.
What did she say?
She said there was the one that the Longhorns play at. Is that?
Oh, my bad. Damn, I'm missing.
Starts with a G.
No, College Hill.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Hill.
I'm sorry.
What's
College
the one?
Hill.
What's the one up north that's really nice that has like the multi-tier?
That's College Hill.
Nah, that's not what I'm thinking. I'll think
Gunter.
of it.
It's in
Gunter. Yeah. That's called College. Okay.
Yeah. That's my my guy out there runs that. Jacob Bodie.
Yeah.
Yes. My bad. Damn, forgot all about that. Yes, it's tiered. They got the 9 and 10s on a beautiful field at the bottom of the tier.
Yes.
And they have the 11, 12s, 13s.
It's just in Oklahoma, so it's a haul, man.
Yeah,
Gunter's a
it's
drive.
dude, but it's worth the drive.
Not if you have a Tesla.
Yes, my bad.
Nowhere to charge.
Thank you, Christy.
Yes,
I forgot all about.
Well, that's another thing about that field that I think that I really like, which is another frustrating thing about Big League Dreams, because they could actually do something like this if they wanted to.
Right.
Is at a young age for some of these kids, like hitting a bomb, it's great.
Right.
Okay. So make the field big enough to where the age group that is appropriate has an opportunity to put one out, because those kids never forget that stuff. And again, you're trying to create an experience. You're trying to create an experience for the parents, for the kids, for the teams. And, you could say, oh yeah, well, he hit it out of two. Who cares? Like, what does it matter? Like, he got it over the fence that was set in front of him. So those kids love that stuff. And if more of those parks took that stuff into play, as opposed to and that's the thing about Big League Dreams is they have the ability to set up temporary fencing out there. It's not that hard. And oh, by the way, it's not that expensive. It doesn't cost that much to do it. Which are slowly closing their facilities. What are you talking about, Chrissy? What do you mean they're closing down?
They better not be. Our practice fields are at BLD.
Yeah, maybe they are doing repairs. I don't know, or maybe she's saying they're so terrible they're slowly closing down.
Hey,
but I think more fields should, because again, that goes back to what we were talking about a minute ago, the experience. What are we trying to help them learn and go through and remember when they're doing this kind of stuff? And if I'm running a tournament, I want home runs, because parents are going crazy, kids are going crazy, things are showing up on social media. Like, that's what you want. But again, it feels like some of these tournament directors or field organizers are losing sight of that piece. And that's just one aspect of it. But that's one of the things I love about going to Gunter, is that those fields, I mean, I think one of the kids we play with, he hit it off one of the poles, like he hit it so far. It was great.
And Bodie, I want to apologize, bro. You should have been one of the first ones, your complex, that I shouted out. Another reason that I will drive and always will drive to Gunter is because Bodie cares about the game more than he does about making money.
Yeah.
And I can back that up by saying he makes the rules health appropriate.
Yeah.
Meaning he has people out there counting pitches. He's forcing coaches to coach and players to play, and teams not dependent on 2 or 3 pitchers for a whole tournament.
Right.
Which is what I love. And Rocker B does it as well. Because I'm so tired of me not being able to say something to these coaches pitching 9 to 12-year-olds 120 pitches, and they think they're slick because they'll pitch them 1 inning or 2 innings one game on Saturday, throwing 60 pitches, and then they'll pitch them 1 inning to close out the first game on Sunday for 20 to 30 pitches, and then they'll go 5 to 6 innings in the semifinal championship for another 80 to 90 pitches, and the kids pitching 180 pitches every weekend.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
At 11.
I don't even care if he's 13.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's when I was talking about the cost of winning is too great. And Bodie up in College Hill, he's doing it right. I mean, he's willing to sacrifice making money for the health of the kids.
Yeah. So
all organizations need to drive and support tournament directors that do it like that.
Yeah.
Like Aaron does it. He only allows two outs on a Saturday, but all these why have a kid 27 outs in 2 days? You know how many pitches you can get literally in 27 outs.
Well, that's why it's hard to judge it by outs. You know, if they're not doing pitch counts and then running outs, you can have a kid that pitches 40 and you can have a kid that pitches 110 in the same amount of outs. It's just
I've done it on paper. On average, AA, AAA kids throw between 15 to 25 pitches per inning on average.
Right.
Now, if you're going by innings or even outs, 3 outs to an inning, right? So you have to multiply, say if they're 11, 12, 13, 6 to 7 times 15 to 25. That's just on average. That's already over 100 pitches.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
Just for the amount of outs they're allotted. It's ridiculous, man. It's just not cool.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know that that's a systemic issue that, you know, isn't going to necessarily fix itself over time, because you're just going to have to, unfortunately,
a lot, Pedro.
Kids are just going to have to, you know, parents and kids are going to have to go through some bad stuff, and kids getting wrecked in order for them. And so it has happened, and people have, you know, gotten better at it. I think it is better. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's forked off, right? Mm-hmm. You've got one group in this world that understands all that, in the youth sports world that tries to pay attention to the health of the kids, and the parents get it, and they tend to gravitate to each other.
Right.
And then you've got this whole other side that don't care about any of that stuff. And some of the parents don't care either. They're in it 100%. And because they're more focused on the winning, we want to have the ring. We want to, you know, do the little ring in the middle with the picture, and, you know, everybody's got their thing, but that's what they want, versus the other side, which is like, look, I want my son or daughter to get better. That's all I care about. I want them to improve their skills at this particular activity, or at least develop skills that will carry them over in other things. And you don't always get the wins on that side of the table every single time. But I think that you walk away from that experience, and the kids, especially when they do hit that age where the desire and the talent start to matter, if they've also carried those traits over with them to that point, you're going to have substantially better athletes and just better human beings. Because again, what are we doing? Like, what are we trying to raise here? Are we trying to raise Ken Griffey Jr., or are we trying to raise a good father that's going to pass on those lessons to their child, or their good mother that's going to do that? That's what we're trying to do. And that has to be the focus at all times. And you can't take it out on umpires. You can't take it out on coaches. And some people are just going to be that way.
Right.
But those aren't people that you want in your organization, you know?
Yeah. I think there should be a rule in every tournament sanction that
I got to follow you around because you move the mic, you know, you got to, no, it's fine. That'll be just my little side gig I'm always working on.
There should be a 75% rule. And this just came to me as we were talking about it. Whatever your roster, 75% of that roster has to pitch.
Yeah.
Every tournament.
Right.
Maybe whether it be 1 out, 1 inning. If it's 1 inning, it might slow the game down a little bit. But somehow, some way, 75% of your roster has to pitch.
Yeah.
If you're carrying 12, 9 got to pitch. If you're carrying 10, 7's got to pitch.
Right.
Carrying 11, 8's got to pitch. That's the only way to force, one, coaches to do their job and develop, and stop cutting and pasting the roster, meaning they cut the worst kids and collect other people's, you know, best kids.
Yeah.
That's the only way it's going to stop that. And, you know, all these growth plates and Tommy Johns and little leaguers' elbows and shoulders. The only way it's going to cut down.
Well, but even from a coach's point of view, you know, coaches have to understand, if you're trying to build a roster that's purely based to win, and you're going to cut your bottom 3 guys, or you're going to cut your bottom 2 guys or whatever every season, and that's your mentality, that's what you're thinking. The problem is that even when you put together that quote unquote perfect team, which is never going to happen, but let's just say you figure out how to do it, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the following, you could win the World Series, win every tournament, go 25-0, whatever. By the end of that season, there's going to be
a couple people
that aren't happy with what you're doing, and they're going to leave, and you're going to start all over again.
It just happened to us. I thought we had the perfect 13U team.
Yeah.
I mean, let's keep it 100.
Yeah.
I thought we did.
Yeah.
And it was created organically. It wasn't created by the cut and paste system.
Yeah.
Me cutting kids. It wasn't. It was just like, for lack of a better term, I got this from somebody else, lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
And that didn't even last 6 months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always going to be parents or people that want to go to some other level, or they think that their kid deserves this or deserves that.
Right.
Maybe they do. Maybe, who knows? I can't say the situation, but what I can say is that you're never going to put together a perfect team. It's just never going to happen. And the other way to look at it is to say, okay, I'm going to, like you said, organically build something, and I'm going to focus on each child and do my best to make sure that I get the most out of them that I can get, and they get the most out of themselves that's available. And what tends to happen is people gravitate, right? So then you look up and you're like, all right, I'm trying to form a team of 12 kids. And then all of a sudden you've got 17 that want to play for you. You're like, okay, well, this is the best problem in the world to have, because now you can then, especially if you're running an organization, you can say, okay, I've got my top 10 or 11, I'm going to put with this squad, and then I'm going to have my developmental team. And I'm going to have these other 5 or 6 kids that didn't quite fit with this group, or, I'm trying to win, whatever your goal is. And then put them there. And then you can go find, the way I did it, just starting off with just like 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds, when I wanted to go play basketball or baseball or football, whatever we needed. If I needed more kids, I just go to them. Hey, do you guys have friends that you enjoy and families that you like to be around? Would you like them to come play with you every weekend? Invite them to come play. Well, he's not very good. I don't care. Like, bring him.
I'm glad you said that, because that's basically how 817 was built.
Yes.
I very rarely recruit, very rarely post tryouts. Everything has been open about our organization, and gotten a lot of flack for that. Just come to find out, the last couple of weeks, supposedly there's a lot of people that don't like me because we have an all-black senior team. That happened organically.
Where'd you get that? Just out of curiosity. I'm not surprised by it, but
some other birds hit me up. And was like, hey man, you're getting flack for that, blah, blah, blah.
Like parents or coaches, or not, you don't have to name people. I'm just saying,
just people in the youth, the youth world.
Gotcha.
It's a small world, DFW sports.
I mean, to me, that would be.
It literally happened like organically.
Right. You didn't. I didn't go out there. Happen.
There's not one person that can show you a flyer or a tweet. I don't even do Twitter, a comment or a post where I said I wanted to start an all-black team.
Right.
It just happened.
Right. But it's so funny how that's not celebrated, because
I tried to celebrate it, and now, getting flack for it. It's like, come on, it's ridiculous.
Well, there's not enough black kids in baseball.
No,
there's not. You're talking about some of the best athletes on the planet, and they're not playing this sport.
It's ridiculous.
And when you have a team that's filled that has a lot of young black athletes, why would that not be a celebration to say, hey, look, this is a team we actually need to prop up and show that, they can do it just as well as anybody else, and probably better in a lot of cases.
And it happened from what you said. It happened because it started because it was just happened to be a group of parents that just slowly started coming over, and they got along. The energy was awesome, and it basically is built around Marcus. His energy, a couple kids knowing a couple kids.
There he is.
A couple kids knowing a couple kids.
Love that dude.
People leaving, and then people coming on, and it just formed.
Yeah.
And that team got bumped to AAA in one season.
Well, look, we talked about this last time. People gravitate to situations in which they feel comfortable.
Right.
Okay. And if you are a black family and you grew up in a black family and you spend most of your time around your friends that also are black, well, then if you have a team and you have friends and you're like, hey, my friends, come play with me. Well, you're going to have more often than not, you have more black kids than you're not. Doesn't mean you don't have white friends or Mexican friends or Hispanic friends or whatever. It's just what it is. But I think what happens and why the flat comes across, I experienced this in football, because there's obviously, the culture is different in football when it comes to more black athletes than there is in baseball. And we would have these football games, and I ran an organization in Arlington that was primarily white folks. Right. And we would play some of these teams from, other parts of the town. And, I would have parents like, oh, how is this? And these people are blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, you don't understand what kind of culture exists on that side of the fence. You just know what you know. Exactly. You don't know what they know. Right. And to sit back and say, well, you know, I don't like the way they say that, or I don't like, and I say they're talking about the parents and, you know, what's going on there. I'm like, there's a difference in just basic in celebration, right? Just being excited. Like in, you know, for whatever reason,
we're more energetic.
Yes, for whatever reason, on
we're
the
more passionate.
on the white folks,
we're loud.
They're over there. Just this is a lot of golf clapping. No, this is lovely. This is great.
There's nothing wrong with saying it, Mike. You can say black people are louder.
Yeah, it's not
the way
louder.
we
It's celebrate is different. Yes, it's like going to a movie, right?
We get crunk, bro.
Going crazy. They're having a good time, and it's like that's okay. It's a different way.
It's a different culture.
That's it. That's all it is, and it shouldn't be. Again, that goes back to the fear. Well, I don't.
Just like my chicken's probably more seasoned than your chicken.
Yes. Well, I don't know. My wife makes some spicy shit, so maybe not, but you know, it could be.
It is what it is.
Oh, she likes your shirt. Chrissy's a fan of your shirt.
Oh yeah, this available. I keep forgetting it's the opposite. So
yeah.
This is available on the pop-up shop coming soon.
But there needs to be more.
Yes, you are black, Dan.
That's why
Coach Dan.
I'm glad you and I get to talk about this kind of stuff, because like I grew up, I went to Everman High School. I don't know if you're familiar in South Fort Worth.
Yeah, I don't like it over there.
Yeah. Well, that's where I went, man.
I don't like it.
And I was when I played varsity football, I was one of, I think, 5 white guys on the whole football team. Mm-hmm. And so I grew up in that culture from 7th grade all the way up to my junior year. And that's where I was. And so I'm not uncomfortable. But I'm still the most lily white dude on the planet. You know what I mean? So it's not like, but I understand when there's celebration, when they're happy, you know, when everybody's having a good time, and I can get into that, as opposed to being somewhat like people get offended by it. Like it's, you know, it's not what I'm used to, so I can't be around. It's like, no, how about you learn something? How about you experience something that's different that you're not familiar with, and you might actually enjoy it. You know?
On all honesty.
And then you get to listen to Bobby Brown at practice.
I could explain, but
playing rock with you.
It would take all day to explain.
I know
why we are the way we are when it comes to being passionate, emotional, energetic, a little loud. It goes way back. It goes back hundreds of years. We don't even have time for that conversation, but it's not just something that we do just to piss people off.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have a podcast on that one day, but it's what it is.
It's celebration. It's just a different form of celebration, and that's all it is. Nothing more than that.
I mean, if you look at my dynamic, going back to, you know, us creating the all black 10U team, Courage team, shout out Team Courage. It has nothing to do with me trying to do anything. 817 is supposed to be about minorities, low income families. Yeah, we got some families in there that got money, but the majority of our families struggle, and just the way society's set up.
Well, the majority of America struggles, honestly.
It is what it is. But if you look at my inner circle, my son's godfather, white. My daughter's godmother, Hispanic. Shell's godfather is Jewish. Yeah. It just happens.
Yeah.
I gravitate to not a color, but I gravitate to what I feel comfortable with, and it doesn't really matter. Like,
look at the coaches that work with you in the league.
Yeah.
Right. Your coaches that you have
Dan
every color of the rainbow.
We got them all.
Yeah.
We got black, white, Hispanic. We got them all.
Yes.
It's just, I gravitate, and I love who I love.
Yeah, it's the human being.
It's the human being, man.
Yes.
And for all those out there that say, well, why is he talking about color? I don't see color. Please stop saying you don't see color.
Bullshit.
Please, y'all, please, can we get rid of that phrase, that cliche, you don't see color? That's a lie. I mean, that's like saying you don't see the food on your plate then.
Right.
If you don't see color, how the hell you know you're eating green vegetables?
Yes.
How you know your milk is white?
You don't.
And your eggs have yellow yolk. So I can't stand when people say that.
Well, that's what they call that virtue signaling, is what that's referred to as, when you're trying to let everybody know how wonderful you are because you accept all things. Well, I don't see. Look, there's culture. Okay, I prefer that word over color. It's like. Right. Because look, there's plenty of there's a comedian. His name's Tom Segura. Have you ever heard of him?
No, sir.
So he's looks like a fat white guy, but he's actually his parents are from Spain, right. And so he's more Hispanic than anybody. You know, he speaks fluent Spanish, great. So he's talking about how he goes to like hotels and stuff, and they'll ask him, you know, they're like, you speak Spanish, and they're like, yeah. He's like, but you're white. He's like, there are white people that speak Spanish all over the world. Like but it's this small-minded thing that's based off of, the what someone wears or what kind of hat they have, or, their clothes or their skin. It's like, look, we all come from different backgrounds and have different things that we love and things that we don't like and whatever. And the best thing to do is to listen and learn from someone and find out what they're into and what they like. So maybe you can appreciate it, and maybe you can teach them a little something about your culture, and maybe they can teach something about their culture a little bit to you. And then you have this greater wealth of knowledge and this breadth of understanding of people that is so much more important than trying to stay in your own little, echo chamber in your little hole and not walking out of that because you're terrified of somebody that's different than you on a regular basis. And
that's what sports is supposed to be about, bridging the gaps.
Yes.
Bridging the gaps.
Yeah.
Which is why we have the most diverse organization in the state of Texas. Yeah. We got a lot of interactive.
Yeah, we had a lot of comments today. This one's rolling around really well. Well, so okay, we're about an hour and 20 minutes in. All right. I think this might be a good place to stop because we're not like this is gonna be the last one, right?
Right. No.
So
I got to give away something free.
Okay.
Though.
What was the giveaway? What was the offer?
I'm giving away a
free Rapsodo hitting and pitching.
Yeah, data reading
to a live listener.
Yes.
Okay.
They can't be 817 though.
It can't
I already
be
give them enough free stuff.
Okay.
So actually, if you can answer this question, hopefully people go back and listen on Spotify, our YouTube channel,
Apple Pod,
when any kind of streaming service.
And by the way, so I don't do this on my own thing, but you guys listening and everything, it helps us a ton if you would share it to your Facebook feed. Yes. Share it to
we're trying to get that Barstool contract.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Me and Mike trying to go to Barstool.
Yes, that's right. We're trying to go to Barstool. But if you could help us spread the word. Our great little meme YouTube page with our Ebony or Lite Ebony and Ivory picture, which I find to be hilarious personally. But
very good job on that.
Thank you very much. But if you guys would share this, obviously everybody's been commenting great, but we really appreciate that. Let your friends and family know. Put it to youth pages. Yes. I know you shared some stuff to some of the stuff on Facebook. If you're a member of some of those, share it to those. We'd really appreciate all that stuff.
The question will be, and you can either text me the answer, the first person, but I'm going to make you have to listen to this podcast and the first one to get the answer, because I've said the answer in one of the two podcasts. What city was I born in?
City were you born in? While we wait on an answer, if anybody has it.
Yes.
Your dogs did pretty well.
Man, I didn't want to bring them up because this is TCU land.
That's okay. That's okay.
This is TCU land.
What'd you think about that before we go?
It's the opposite, right? That's what I think.
Yeah. Obviously, you were happy about that, but I'm hearing, and I see it from on social media. I don't hear from people necessarily I talk to all the time because I don't have a dog in this fight. That TCU didn't deserve to be there, and I call bullshit on that 100%.
They won the game.
They beat Michigan.
They beat Michigan.
Michigan beat Ohio State.
They beat whoever they was put on their schedule, except Kansas State. Who
in a Big 12 championship game that didn't matter.
Right. Now, the way it was set up, TCU deserved to be there.
Yes.
In that, I believe the national championship game was Ohio State against Georgia. I believe that was the true national championship game. But you can't say that TCU didn't deserve to be there because they did everything on their schedule they were supposed to do. It's the way the system set up. They were supposed to be there.
Yes.
Now, were they the best team for Georgia to face in the national championship? No, they weren't. But that's not their fault.
But sometimes matchups just don't work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you have a bad team. It just means you have a bad matchup. And then also too, from TCU's point of view, if you're going to a game, I mean, they've never been in a national championship game. Or no, I think they won in like
1938.
Yeah. It was a while ago, but not since anybody else of consciousness has been around. So, those kids, that school, that was a whole new ball game for them. And it's like a team showing up to the World Series for the very first time. Like there's jitters, there's nervousness. Georgia was there the year before. They showed up there like we've been here before.
The year after we lost, we should be. It could easily be a three-peat for Georgia.
Right.
One throw from Tua Tuigalova, or however you say his name, at the end of the game, and we're, back to back champs.
Right. Same kids, same team, same coaches for the most part. Like that, they had been in that dance before, but TCU had never been there before. So to not be surprised that a bunch of adolescent kids didn't put their best foot forward in a national game like that is not surprising, especially because a lot of people didn't think they deserved to be there, and all. Obviously the odds makers put them at 13-point underdogs, which was massive. But if you just look at the College Bowl series for the last couple of years, I think I saw something the other day. They've played 27 games, and it was something like 19 of them have been
one possession.
No, like blowouts by I think they classified a blowout as like 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Who, us, Georgia?
No. I'm just talking about the whole system. The CFB is what they CFP or CFB. What do they call it now? But if you look at that whole thing, of the 27 games that they've had so far, 19 of them have been what they consider to be blowouts, because that happens in college football. It happens a lot. You have teams that are, Texas plays OU every single year. And if you go look at those scores from time to time, I remember if it was this year or last year. I think it was this year. Texas beat the shit out of OU. Destroy. I don't think they scored a touchdown. Right. And that's OU. That's a major program that's won national championships, has great coaching, great players, all that. Sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And know what I'm tired of hearing, though? And y'all gonna stop discrediting my Bulldogs.
Hey, Sarah Brooks.
Hey, Sarah, you know my wife, Miranda? Yes, she is awesome. Y'all probably like, how the hell she married him? Hey, it is what it is. I'm tired of hearing Georgia beat a bunch of 19-year-olds with a 25-year-old quarterback.
Okay.
Number one, Joe Burrows was 23 when he won his national championship. Number two, TCU had a 30-year-old punter. Number three.
Was he really 30?
Yeah, he was 30.
That's hilarious.
Number three, did you guys forget about the 2-year COVID exemption? Because my son was going up against a 21-year-old freshman this season in his college soccer season. 21-year-old freshman, Mike.
Yeah.
So you got whooped, period.
Yeah,
Don't matter if he's 25, 26, 18.
It was one of the most depressing games I've ever watched. And not because I care about TCU. I just felt horrible for their fans, because it was over in the first 10 minutes.
Yes, it
like
was.
if you watched it and got the vibe of that game, it was done in the first.
It was over after we beat Ohio State.
Yeah,
honestly.
Now you're just talking shit.
Let me answer this real quick. Miss Perkinson, you're way off, and I would have gave it to you. You would have won if you would have got it right, because you are new to the organization. You haven't gotten anything free from us, but no, you're way off. Not even close. Sorry. Miss Brooks, so how do you know my wife? I'm sorry, your name doesn't ring a bell.
No.
I can't tell by the picture. These Gucci glasses don't work very well.
I actually her daughter in basketball, I believe, for a season. So yeah, that's how I know Sarah.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for everybody that hung out with us and stayed for the full hour and 20 minutes. We appreciate it.
Don't forget to share it.
Listen, you got to give something away here. Come on.
Okay. I will give away 3 white 817 hats to who, Mike?
Why do I got to pick? I don't know, man. See, I think you should do the rep. I think you should give Jen the reps. You get a softball player in there to show you how to hit the baseball.
So give it to. They got to answer something.
What do you want her to answer? She that's my girl. She's a softball queen. You got to bring in the softball people into the 817 family. Although she's a national player. Her players.
Jen,
Lily's the jam.
What zone did I grow up in Georgia? So I don't know how it works in Texas. Like each city is a zone. Say like Fort Worth would be zone 3. Arlington would be zone 11. If you can come within one number of the zone I grew up in.
So how many zones are there? There's no zones in Texas.
I'll give you a hint. It's 1 through 10. 1
through 10. Give it a guess, Jen. Give it a guess.
Come on. You got to become within 1.
That's going to be hard.
1 digit.
I don't even, do y'all have zones in Georgia?
Well,
what does that even mean?
I don't know.
She's going 8.
Damn. Nope. Wrong. It was zone 6.
Oh, that was close. Come on. Siri, what sound did Jamil grow up in?
Siri? Siri's not going to.
Siri's not going
I
to.
grew up zone 5.
But I think that's funny,
on the border
Blend. That's
zone
hilarious.
6. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to walk away and we're not going to give away.
No, all they got to do is
They don't know.
listen to the first
I know,
podcast.
but they got to go back. We want to do it right now while you got them.
You know how much worth of a reading for Rap Soto's worth? The data?
Oh, come on.
That's $300 value.
It's already
bro.
there. It's already there.
All right. Since she listened, zone 8. Nope. I grew up in Ellenwood, it's a suburb of Atlanta. Hey, yep, that's it. Zone 5, zone 6, East Atlanta, Ellenwood. So since you did the research, you took all that time. Come on down.
All right.
Get my number from Mike, and I will hook you up.
And you'll see how a real hitter. She's gonna put all those boys to shame, bro. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
Lily is a beast.
Ellenwood, zone 6.
And
Shout
she's
out.
tiny. She can crush it. I embarrass my son on a regular basis by telling him he's not half the man.
Yes. He wants to blast that spider into outer space.
That's right. That's right. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. What are we? Is this a weekly thing, a monthly thing, every 2 weeks? What are we doing here?
The season's gonna
Weekly's
start
long. Weekly's a lot. So
probably bi-monthly, maybe.
Okay.
At least once a month.
Once a month. All right, we'll commit to once a month.
Once a month.
We'll promote it. We'll be back.
Yes.
If you guys want us to talk about anything in particular, let us know.
Leave comments on our Facebook page for topics you guys want to hear.
Yep.
We both won't hold back.
I'll hold back some.
Well, he has to. He has a real job. He works.
Yeah.
He has a boss. I don't.
You have a real job. You have a real job.
So share it. Hopefully, I didn't get blackballed.
Oh, no.
Some of the stuff I said.
You're fine. You're being dramatic. It's gonna be fine. All right. Well, appreciate you guys for hanging out, and we will be back soon. We'll put it out there. Share this, and thank you guys. Y'all have a good weekend.
See you
later.